Look at you, got a new phone to review. So how many kilometers did you have to drive for this? Well, not much. 12 plus 12 plus 30 plus 30. How much is that? Hey everyone, Mukul here. So I got the Samsung M30s from a friend who sent it to me box sealed, which is something which I would have never done for anyone. Yeah, I kinda suck. So inside the box you had a SIM eject pin, a 15-watt charger with its cable, and yes, you guessed it right, a phone. So Samsung made this device by keeping two things in mind, the performance and the battery. The previous Samsung M30 had an inferior processor on it, and Samsung made sure to emphasize on the performance when they were clearly developing the Samsung M30s. So Samsung wanted to beat its competition so well in this price segment that they made sure to port their Samsung A50s Exynos processor, which was Exynos 9610, and they made a successor of it and put that Exynos successor on this phone in this price segment. So not only we get a better processor than the Samsung A50, we also get a iteration upon it. The Exynos 9611, in my view, is really good when it comes to performance, and you will know more about it as the video progresses. But putting a better processor on a mid-segment price device does have its own drawbacks. The build of M30s is no different to any M series lineup. It's plastic all over, but holding the device feels great. And if you put a cover anyway on it, then this part shouldn't matter to you at all. Even if you own an iPhone, the build doesn't matter if in the end you put a huge ass cover on the phone. But this phone definitely feels plasticky, but not cheap plastic or anything. The phone is built very well and it felt really solid in the hand. Look how I do my hand. What? And it is pretty slim too. The phone is quite tall though. Using it by one hand is not going to be very easy. But thanks to One UI, Samsung made sure to fix this issue in all their previous flagship phones and mid-tier phones. So kudos to Samsung for this. As many of you must already know, there's a teardrop notch on the front of the phone, which has a camera, triple camera setup on the back with a flash on it, and a fingerprint sensor on the back too, which is good as I still find them better than the on-screen fingerprint sensors. Even if you have a on-screen fingerprint sensor on the front, it's quite easier to access the fingerprint, let's say if the phone is in your pocket. So when you put your hand in your pocket, you would actually feel the depression of a fingerprint sensor which is on the back. So by the time you take the phone out of your pocket, you would have it unlocked. So this is one reason why I still love having physical fingerprint sensors on the phones rather than the on-screen sensors. Because when it comes to using on-screen sensors, you would always have to look at your phone and place your finger right on that particular area. But obviously nobody is going to put depressions on your front phone screen. With all the set of new features, you lose something and you gain something. But these companies know how to market these features as their flagship features or as their benchmark features and make these phones sell like hotcakes. But if to the end user, these new features are of less use or of less convenience, then I don't think the point of having them. But yeah, a lot of people do love the on-screen fingerprint sensors and I don't mind having that, but I personally prefer having a physical fingerprint sensor on the back because of the fact that I can access it more faster and unlock my phone by the time it reaches my face. There's a USB Type-C with one mic on the bottom and one mic on the top, and a frigging 3.5mm jack on the bottom. Thank God. There are volume buttons with a power button on the right and a 2 SIM with one card slot on the left. Pretty neat setup so far and it checks everything right. My friend bought the phone in white color because there is literally no dust or pollution in India. What? As you tap the power button, there's a small animation which happens around the front camera notch. All these little animated effects on your phone gives you an impression as if you're living in the future with all these gizmo lighting, RGB or non-RGB or single light mode effects on the gadget you own. Sorry. You can set up the face unlock feature right when you first boot up the phone. I've personally felt that the face unlock feature was way faster than the fingerprint sensor. And by default, the first time you set it up, whenever the phone detects your face, it will stay on the lock screen. So there's one useless step which you have to follow, and that is to go to the settings and security and change how the phone unlocks with the face unlock feature. So kind of a useless step which is very extremely unnecessary for a phone to have. Who would want their phone to get unlocked and stay on the lock screen and admire those ever-changing wallpapers? Oh, I think maybe some people would like it. But what was really cool about the face unlock that it did unlock my face of the phone. I mean, it did unlock the phone even in low light. So yeah, good work on that, Samsung. But you know what's really best? That you have the option to choose if you want to have the fingerprint unlock or the face unlock. It's not like those other companies which will impose these restrictions on you by choosing these features themselves. So this is what the Android world is like. Oops, you are not restricted to choose what a company is offering. You have the liberty to choose whatever you want and be free. Even jump off a mountain. What? Rear camera can record up to 4K in 30 FPS and the front camera can record up to Full HD at 30 FPS. The three sensors on the back are the primary sensor, an ultra-wide sensor and a depth sensor. By this time, I'm pretty convinced that Samsung is putting this depth sensor on it just for the sake of having three sensors on the back. I mean, even after so many iterations on different phones by Samsung, the portrait mode or the live focus mode hasn't improved much. And it hasn't improved on many phones actually. It's not just Samsung. I will be making an in-depth camera review video on the Samsung M30s. So make sure you subscribe to the channel with the bell icon so that you don't miss that update. And if you don't want to do that, you can do one more thing. You can get a huge A3 sheet, print this channel name on that, post it on the walls of your house. But yeah, you will definitely be kicked out then. So better you just click on the subscribe button. That's easier. Wow, am I smart or what? Having an ultra-wide sensor on your phone is super fun and I will share with you why on that video. The presence of night mode or dark theme is a bliss. Even when the phone doesn't have an AMOLED screen, it is overall pleasing to the eyes. Or at least my eyes. I just love the Samsung One UI and this phone also obviously came with it. There are tons of customizations a Samsung phone could still do with this cleaner UI layout. I have covered it extensively in detail on my previous video where I show how good the One UI update was on the Note 9. I will share that link below and above and everywhere. The external speaker quality was pretty good. Overall, the pricing of the 70, especially in India, is really good considering the fact that it is around 38,000 rupees right now, and after the SBI card discount it would cost you around 36,000 rupees. I would say it was definitely above average. The vocals were clear and during music playback, the bass was crisp and clear. And by that I mean there was no bass at all. Because this is not a subwoofer, it's a phone. What else did you expect? I was glad that it was loud enough and I could hear my words through the video I played and the music I played without putting the phone right next to my ear. But the biggest drawback of the speaker on this phone is its positioning. It was so easy to cover the speaker grill with my hand, especially when I was playing a game or I was watching some videos or when I was doing some similar tasks like these. And has overall great set of features. It is also a way better looking phone than the Poco F1, which is my next recommendation. So that position of the speaker grill could have been better, or it could have been made in such a way that even if my fingers were lying on top of it, the sound didn't go totally mute. But while I was playing the game, I totally rotated the phone again so that the speaker grill was facing my left hand, and by doing this, I was able to minimize this problem to some extent. But anyway, you would always have to keep this in mind while you're watching videos or playing games. Or just use that 3.5mm jack and put in earphones in your ear. Wherever else would you put it? Now when it comes to performance, the device really felt top notch. I really can't complain anything about it. The battery, as you already know, is going to be the biggest USP of the phone. 6000 mAh, and yet the phone feels so light and so slim. Opening many apps and multitasking tasks were handled with ease by the phone. I just loved how much lag-free the phone was. I'm really proud of Samsung trying its best and actually reaching at a good level when it comes to these mid-segment devices. It's not easy to do things which you are not actually used to. Samsung had launched many cheap phones and mid-segment phones in the past, but until their Samsung M series and Samsung A series, the mid-segment phones never felt so good. And now even their own processors are speaking volumes when it comes to this price segment. I mean, just look how smoothly it handled the split screen view. I don't think anyone is going to have any performance issue with the phone. I rarely game on a phone, but I tried SFL9 just for all you guys, just to see how well the phone performs in gaming. There was no lag or stutter or frame drops, if you might say. The phone didn't heat up at all too, but you decide that for yourself. but I kept covering the speaker with my hand. It was really impossible to not do that. Opening the camera app and snapping pictures was swift too. Literally no complaints here. But yes, do check out the camera review video when it's up. I make these videos alone, so it can take 4 to 5 days, but patience always rewards. What I really loved about this phone is how similar most of the UI was to the Note 9. I really dig having a fingerprint sensor on the back on Samsung devices, as it also acts as a button when you have to drop down your notification menu without reaching the top of the phone. The gallery had some nifty features too. I will explain them in the camera review video. The screen felt really bright. Going from the lowest to the maximum brightness did feel super bright. I don't think it should be dim or anything in broad daylight. But of course, because it's not an AMOLED screen, and if you have experienced AMOLED screens on your phone, then do not expect the same performance from the screen of this phone. The cameras are one thing which I personally was not a fan on this phone, but neither did I hated them. Having the flexibility of going super wide on any of the phones out there right now is a great fun feature to have. And having that on this price segment is even better. But how good it really is, I'll share that, I think you know by now. In the camera review video, the battery life is really crazy. Of course, that's what you are paying Samsung for primarily with this phone. When I got the phone, it was around 65%. Took many pictures, installed many apps, played games, took a lot of video footages, kept the screen on for approximately 4 to 5 hours while I was doing all of this, and the battery dropped just 20%. If I was doing the same things on my Note 9, the battery would have dropped at least by 40%. That's how good the battery is on this phone. So forget buying a power bank. But if you leave your home in the morning with 10% of battery, then do buy it. Don't take me seriously. Nobody takes me seriously. But you do get my point, right? It is just lovely to see bigger batteries come on these slim and lightweight phones. I personally totally dig this. Not that dig, this dig. I wonder when will Samsung actually start doing this with their flagship phones. I mean, this phone cost around about 1/6 or 1/5 less than the Note 9, and the Note 9 still doesn't have a 6000 mAh battery in it. Yeah, I do understand that it has a lot of components in it, but the kind of battery backup with this processor on this phone, I think it will be tough for a lot of companies out there to beat Samsung in this department. I mean, look at the Asus ROG Phone 2. But hey man, that phone weighs around 250 grams. That's 1/4 of a kg. So that means if you don't do gym, you won't be able to carry that phone. Right? I think we can manage a little weight on the phone when the phone is offering such a massive battery backup, performance enhancement, enhancers and whatnot. So if you have a mid to light usage, expect your phone to run for at least 2 days. So you can definitely consider this phone when it comes to having the best performance in this price segment with a crazy amount of battery performance. I mean, having this huge battery backup phone in your pocket with no power bank in your bag. Just close your eyes and imagine those days. They look beautiful, right? But if this phone is really worth for the camera or not, yeah, I will share that in the camera review video. Ha ha ha. I won't say it's bad or anything, but I still have to check all the pictures and videos on my computer screens to make sure if I'm sharing the right opinions with you guys about the camera performance of this phone. Because sometimes the picture and videos which are shot on the phone looks totally different on a computer screen or on a TV. Computer screen. That's all for this video though. Do hit like if you liked the video. Do comment below if you didn't like the video and share your thoughts why you didn't like the video. Just comment once and I will hack your computers and make you hit that thumbs up. Nah, I'm just kidding. That's all for today. Mewbot out.